So today is October 27, 28 something, and it's finally time for a debut ride with this KTM 1290. Not a debut ride with a bike, but with a bike fitted with proper wheels and tires. So me and my friend Gunnar here bought ourselves identical bikes earlier this year, and then after a long time we finally got our new wheels. So apart from that, the bike is fairly much standard. I have fitted larger foot pegs. I have replaced the handlebar, which originally is swept backwards, with a standard enduro bar, straighter. I've increased it 10 millimeters and fitted a GPS. I think it's about it. We will be starting at Arlanda Airport, just north of Stockholm, Sweden. And the objective for today is to ride 250k north up to a little village called Gimo, where we will dine in not so big fashion and then return. One 990 with Sebbe on, and then we have this must be a 701. after a refreshing lunch here in Rimbo, we're heading back. We didn't reach Gimo as the plan was, due to the snow starting falling down and our fingers getting somewhat cold. So now we just have an hour back, 1.5 maybe. In case we can see what the GPS tells us. Well, one of these obstacles you don't typically like with these machines. We are on a very old railroad bank south of Rimbo, where, oh, as you can see, beavers. Not the result of a storm, but beavers. Ridiculous messages. So here we are a few days after the ride, and I will just briefly go through the bike, which is a original 2017 1290 Adventure R. I did replace the original handlebar with this enduro, more straight handlebar, enduro standard, because the original is swept backwards towards the outer ends, and I didn't like that. I also raised it 10 millimeters by fitting new mounts there, and moved the steering towards the front as much as possible. In addition, I did fit larger foot pegs. And I did a little modification. I did grind off some material there on the lower rear side, and fitted a washer on the upper side in order to gain a few millimeters. The gear lever, this little outer portion here, I moved to the most forward of the three mounting positions there, in order to get enough space for my feet, or my left foot. The bash plate, I ordered a bash plate, that is extra optional, but then I did fit this bar here in order to protect the mount for the side stand, which is, I think, it's a crazy design. The side stand is mounted to the engine block, which can just only cause problem. So with this bar, the idea is that obstacles will slide over and not hit the side stand. That, I think, is a design flaw on this bike. The LCD panel has been a lot of talk about that one. I don't like it very much. Well, it works kind of nice, but since there is a daylight mode and a night mode, and since it switches automatically from one to the other, it's kind of annoying to ride in the forest in sunshine, where you constantly pass through shadows, because immediately in a shadow or under a road bridge it just switches over to night mode, and then there is a 10-second delay before it switches back again. So it goes on and off, completely out of your control, and it's very hard to predict. So under those conditions, it's a no use, or not much use anyway. I think there should have been a manual switch here somewhere, where the rider could decide whether he wanted in day or daylight mode, or night mode, or darker mode. That's always a problem with when manufacturers of vehicles let engineers, electronical engineers, give them free hands to fit all sorts of strange gizmos. Most of them, 99%, is probably not needed at all. It's just ridiculous features. One could mention these extra curve lights in 3 different steps here, where when you lean the bike over, they gradually come on more and more. I can't possibly see the need for it. It's just a ridiculous, or maybe it's a marketing thing they can talk about for people who don't know how a bike works in reality. If there is a need for more headlight, then fit extra and proper LED lights, and make them manual, of course, as well. Everything should be manual. Maybe the ABS system I can live with, especially when riding here on asphalt, which I've done since I bought the bike earlier this year in springtime, and I rode some 2,500 kilometers on asphalt. I think that I like the ABS, knowing that I have the ABS system, because I'm very insecure when riding on asphalt. The grip can move from very good to absolutely zero in an instant. And but on gravel, there's absolutely no need for an ABS system. And when you switch it off, which you can do, and if you buy this electronic dongle and plug into the system, that option, the chosen option, remains even when you switch off the ignition. So, and I have that dongle, so I can have it permanently in without traction control and without ABS. The problem is then that you have warning lights here under this electrical black tape. I don't know if you can see it here on the movie, on the video. But if you're if the ABS system is in off-road mode, there is a little light, yellow warning light, flashing every 5th second. If you turn the ABS off completely, that warning, the same warning light, is constantly on. And why does a bike rider need a warning light to tell you what you have already chosen? I think it's completely unnecessary. So I blocked it in the most simple of ways. Is there anything more to say? Yes, maybe the wheels. Me and my friend, we ordered an extra set of wheels. The rear has a 2.5 inches wide rim, and the rear tire is a Michelin S12, 140 millimeters wide. The front tire is a Bridgestone Gritty ED663, fitted on a 1.85 inch rim. The rear hub is the standard 990 that fits, but the front one is special for this bike. bash plate is an extra option. Maybe I would have said that. And well, this ride I was a little bit sorry I didn't order the heated grips, because that would have made my fingers feel a little bit. There is this bike is very powerful. You can ride it very fast. However, it causes a lot of turbulence the front here, and especially when you ride it with an open helmet like the enduro or motocross helmet. That I think increases the degree of unpleasantness. There is a lot of turbulence, and the head is bouncing around, so riding above 200 or something like that, 200 kilometers an hour is not pleasant, if you'd ask me. And if you are in for those kind of speeds, I think you're on the wrong bike. You should buy other bikes then. On the gravel road, you can of course use this one for 200 kilometers an hour, but which I think is equal to 140 miles an hour. But I think that's by far too fast out in the forest with wild animals and potential obstacles on the tiny roads. So overall, I'm of course pleased with the bike. It was a nice experience. I think it was maneuverable and agile more than I had expected. However, the weight, you should respect the weight of this bike and not get too happy, throttle happy. So I decided to, during this first ride, I had decided to play it safe and be careful. However, I was able to ride faster and more happily than what I would have thought before we took off. So I'm looking forward to what this little friend will, the experiences this friend and myself will have during next year. I also bought myself the rear-mounted top box in order to be able to bring some useful stuff, clothing and so when being on vacation. That one has a design flaw, which is the box is over here, by the way. One can wonder how they can fit this rear locking mechanism and handlebar towards the rear of the bike, because if you ride in muddy and dirty condition, you have to, the lock fills up with dirt, water and a lot of stuff which shouldn't be in there, and it was, after a few minutes on the gravel road, it was almost impossible to open it. I tried it out this summer, and so if I would, next time I would bring it on the gravel excursions, then I will definitely tape it over in order to be able to open it up again. Just the design flaw, I think can't really understand why they made it that way. They should know better by now. Here we have the original wheels, road wheels, street wheels, with Continental attack tires. I had a problem with actually the front wheel is replaced upon warranty. It was out of true and vibrating. I couldn't get it in balance, and it was throwing sideways from one side to another, so very, very unpleasant to ride. But KTM replaced it, and I've heard that is a problem, a known problem to these wheels. I don't know why they wouldn't correct it. Someone told me it wasn't possible. I can't possibly understand why you couldn't correct a spoke wheel just by adjusting the spokes, but not my business. So this is now a replaced front wheel.